What's up, Leafs fans, and welcome back to Leafs Digest. We're live breaking down game number 59 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the Minnesota Wild 2-1 in overtime here tonight off an absolutely electric goal from William Nylander to close this one out in overtime. Ilya Samsonov has himself a pretty good game. 24 saves, 1 goal against, a .960 save percentage, despite almost having a completely shaky start there with that goal. That was almost allowed from the dump in from Jared Spurgeon early on in the first period that ends up hitting the post. But what's going on, chat? I see lots of comments, everything going on here already. Everyone's fired up about this win tonight, looking at what we could potentially get here ahead of the trade deadline, what people think some of the holes will be. So we'll break down the game. I don't have overly much to say about tonight's game. Just watching this one in general was kind of slow, sluggish a little bit. I think that's the kind of style Minnesota's been playing as of late. That's how they've been running things. Gustafsson has kind of been their backbone to keep things all together and give them an opportunity to win. And you see that here tonight with this Leafs team. I mean, Minnesota was on a 4-game win streak coming in, and the Leafs are able to find a way to not let things get out of hand against an actual decent team who's in the mix. Now, Minnesota's obviously a little bit confusing as they're sitting out there acquiring salary on some of these contracts. You'd have to assume that at some point they're going to look to make some additions to their team, as they know Parise and Suter are coming up. But nonetheless, they're a team who's still in the hunt in the Western Division, holding on to a playoff spot, not too far off of first in the Central, actually, at this point. And so, I mean, you look at them, the style of hockey that they play, and for the Leafs to be able to come in here tonight in Toronto, a home game, but hold this one strong through to the end, keep it even, just creating a bunch of chances against this Wild team here tonight. Pretty happy overall. Looking at the face-off percentage, I mean, you go 71% on the face-offs, 24 shots on goal to Minnesota's 25. Like, it was a fairly even game all around. And you're looking at even block shots. This Leafs team, 26 block shots here tonight. That is a full buy-in from everyone in this lineup to block shots. Make sure you're getting in the way of things. And even looking through, like, Noel Acciari, 2 block shots. Aston Reese, 1. Kampf, Kerfoot, Marner, Matthews, 4 blocked shots tonight. John Tavares, blocked shot. You're getting a full-blown buy-in, and for people who might still be concerned about what Austin Matthews is, the lack of kind of goal production from him at this point, yes, it's something that you notice, but it's not something for me that I'm worried about. I'm not sitting here hitting the panic button on Austin Matthews. What's going on? Why can't he score goals? He's still creating. He's still an offensive threat out there. He's someone who's going to make the defense turn their heads every single time he's out there. They're going to be looking for him. And yet, if he can create this much defensively, if he can be this much of a presence on the defensive end, I'm looking at Matthews thinking, wow, this is a full-blown buy-in from a guy who's supposedly just an offensive player. So I was pretty happy of him here tonight, and pretty happy with just that defensive buy-in. I mean, you even saw the skating looks normal, the skating looks good, so whatever knee injury he was dealing with over the past couple of weeks seems to be gone by at this point. But I do see here Andrew Leonard asking, was not a fan of Matthews' performance tonight. Do you guys think he's struggling with injury? I think, if anything, it's the offensive struggles, and it could be coming from the wrist, but I don't see as much struggle for him coming from the rest of his game. Like, it's not like that isn't there. We're still seeing him play super strong defensively, able to block shots, get the takeaways, be in the lane. Like, he's doing a lot of the right things that way. So I'm fine with that. Stephen Beer saying Wildlander with the OT winner. Yes, Willie Nye, that was an electric OT winner that he scored there. Sticking with it, you chase the guy down, lift his stick, take the puck from him, able to protect the puck. It's something we've been talking about with him so far this season, where he's able to protect the puck, hold things in a strong position, not easily able to get knocked off the puck. So that goal was a good example of that whole thing. But If you guys are watching this right now, you have not hit subscribe on this channel, please make sure to do so. We'll be doing live streams after games as well as videos coming out, especially heading up to the trade deadline, talking about all the things that could go on, any rumors, injuries, lineup changes, that kind of stuff. It'll be here on this channel, so please make sure to hit subscribe. And if you're enjoying the show right now, you normally enjoy the post-game live streams, make sure to hit like on this stream. It helps us out. Get around to other people, continue to grow the channel. We are trying to get to 5K subs by the playoff time, so that if you could help us get to that goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Just hit that like button, hit subscribe. Very, very easy to do so. Let's start with Matthews' first shift. I believe it was his first shift on the ice. Defensive play that he made, steals the puck in the defensive zone, picks off the pass, and then goes essentially coast to coast, goes down, chips it off the boards, goes in, beats the guys behind, grabs the puck, creates an offensive opportunity. That is what I'm looking for Austin Matthews. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for out of his play and what he can do. And as far as the offensive stuff, I hope it'll come. I think during playoff time, it will have to come. And if it doesn't, we're going to be sitting here having eerily similar conversations to what we've had over the last 6 years with this team every time they're knocked out in the first round, because you are going to need that offensive production. But as far as a playoff style game or a playoff style performer, it's undeniable that what Austin Matthews is doing right now from at least a defensive standpoint is something you need out of guys in the playoffs. It is 100% something that you're looking for them to step up and do come playoff time. So for Austin Matthews to be doing that, I think is a good step. It's a good look at what this guy could be in playoff time and how impactful he can be on both ends of the ice. Do have to call out Samsonov for almost getting burned by Jared Spurgeon on that one shoot-in early in the game. I don't know how much that had to do with him not being awake. It looked like he was going out to play the pucks where he thought he was going to be. Ends up just being a bad read in general. I think that was a bit of a struggle, but yeah, you got to stay on your toes, and that could have been a rough way to have this game start off. And then even at that, the first goal, the only goal that Minnesota scores here tonight, it's a questionable one from Samsonov because, yes, it hits off of Yarncroke and goes in, but in a position like that, Samsonov 100% should be clogging off that side of the net, the short side, tucked up against the post, not allowing any insight, any opportunities for anyone to get even close to the side of the net, and the pass goes deflected off Yarncroke's skate, tips in off of Samsonov, and then into the net. And I mean, even on that, it still kind of blows my mind about how the refs didn't know that was a goal. You could clearly see the puck sitting at the back of the net against that back post there. So confusing one for them to not call it a goal right away. On the replay, it was very, very evident that it was a goal, but nonetheless, Leafs still find a way to get this one to overtime and win this game here. But Willie Nye, the story of the night. I mean, even looking at this guy, the performance that he put on, in a 2-goal game, he's got 2 points. He sets up the tying goal, scores the winning goal in OT. Willie Nye, to me, so far this season, has been the MVP of this Leafs team from a consistency perspective. William Nylander is a guy that in years past we look at and go, well, he didn't show up tonight. And he's had games so far this season where things have kind of quieted down, but he's never been a bad player, in my opinion, throughout this season. He's never had a game where he's been a bad player. He's had games where he's been quiet, which is expected over 82 games, but never bad. And that has been the pillar of consistency for William Nylander. It has been amazing to see from him because he's the one guy that you kind of look at and say, that's where you can get the value out of the number. That's where you get the value out of 6.9. And that is what we are getting out of him so far this season. I believe now 33 goals on the year, will hit 40. So what a season for William Nylander. And that also just goes hand in hand with playing with Austin Matthews. You're kind of getting a look at what kind of playmaker Austin Matthews is and what he's able to generate and create for other people, because no, he doesn't get any points here tonight, but still sitting at 26 goals, 31 assists on the season. It's not like Austin Matthews has been a ghost this year by any stretch of the imagination. Let's read some of the comments here. What are you guys talking about? I mean, we could start at the top, but Soft Skull Bubble Brain. Are we getting 1 goal in 7 games out of Matthews for the playoffs? No, I don't think so. I think that come playoff time, everyone's going to step up. He's going to be playing with William Nylander. I think that line is going to be buzzing. Willie has been a very consistent playoff performer, and if he can continue what he's doing right now in the playoffs, then Austin Matthews is 100% going to be along for that ride and going to be participating in that. So I'm not worried about that. I think we got to just stay positive here. Like, let's not worry. We're not going out and trading Austin Matthews. So there's no real solution on that. Anyways, he'll get things together. He'll figure it out. I'm not worried about where Austin Matthews is at right now. Seeing Gordon Graham say, I only saw the third. I didn't see Achari get a shift. Achari did get some shifts there, actually, in the third. I believe he was blocking shots. He was in the penalty killing situation. Noel Achari tonight as well. Just pulling up here to confirm, but 10 minutes of ice time. He is playing on that fourth line. You're looking at Aston Reese, 8 minutes. Engvall, 9 minutes, 50. Like, I think for Achari to get 10-23 while he's getting acclimated to this lineup, to this team, 14 shifts that he played here tonight. I think that's something we're going to see out of him. He's probably going to be in a little bit of a diminished role, but I don't think it's really being too much of an issue for that. He didn't do anything wrong here tonight, so he was fine, if that's kind of what you're asking. Robert Smith, that goal has got to top the all-time highlight reel for this entire season. Holy frig, Willie. That is definitely one of the better moments of Willie's year so far this year. That was a great goal, great play. Steven Beer, Zach, if Justin Hull scored us the series-winning overtime goal in the playoffs, would you love Hull, or you still don't care about him? Still don't care. This goes to the fact that he's the tip of the iceberg guy. You see the top part and you say, oh, he does these things well. He kills penalties. He's got an active stick. And then you go, oh, wait, there's all this under the water that you're not really realizing that he does so poorly and is very not good at, causing us to bring this animation out. So, it still wouldn't really change anything for me. I can't lie about that. Andrew Leonard, hey, Zach, if you were Dubas, what would be your final trade? It's a defenseman. For me, it's a defenseman. I know that there's questions about what this second line can do, if they'll stay together. Will they put O'Reilly on the third? Look, 2 pieces. One, if O'Reilly goes to the third line, then the first issue that you have is that he plays approximately 2 to 3 minutes less per night, which you don't really want to have O'Reilly playing 2 to 3 minutes less a night. You'd like for him to be playing a lot more. Yes, it adds a ton of depth. I completely understand, but you'd rather have him in a position to be playing a lot more and playing some more impactful minutes. I think that with the slowdown of speed from John Tavares, O'Reilly not having that much speed either, keeping them on the same line with Marner to dance around gives them a good opportunity. I think it gives a good dynamic because they can go, JT and O'Reilly can go battle in corners. They get to the right spot. They have a goal scoring ability as well as O'Reilly's obviously defensive ability and grit. I think it adds to that second line a lot. And then once you go down, if he goes down to the third line, you now need to get another top 6 forward. So it creates another problem for you where you need to get a top 6 forward. I think at this point, if you wanted to go and add another forward, you could, but it's not a pressing issue. You could just upgrade guys in the bottom 6. Whereas if you put them down to the third line, you must go get a top 6 forward. So for me, the priority lands on a defenseman. You need to upgrade. You need to upgrade on Justin Hull. I think one thing as well here that we're going to see, and we will continue to see, is I think Riley, Brody, Gio, and Liljegren are the most solid in this lineup. They're the most comfortable guys here. They're the most trusted by Keefe of the 6 that you have right now. Then you have Hull, you have Timmins. Ideally, you don't want to see, and you have Sandy, and ideally you don't want to see Hall or Timmins in the playoffs. You'd like to see someone better than them. And on top of that, you'd probably like to see someone who might be able to elevate Sandin's game. Or maybe you could put Giordano down, kind of even things out, and then put someone with Liljegren who could be even better. So for me, I would be looking at a defenseman. I think guys like Ryan McDonough, Matthias Ekholm, those could be players to look at. Gavrikov is interesting, but Columbus is asking for a ton for him, which is concerning. And then obviously the King Daddy topper would be Jacob Chikrin out of Arizona. I think that would be an interesting piece to go and acquire. And it's still not out of the realm of possibility. It could still happen, as the Leafs do have approximately $4 million of deadline space that they can use. So for me, looking at that, I think that could be a good spot, but it's got to be defense. There's now a conversation. Do you get a goalie? What do you do at the playoffs? Do you trust these guys? Look, if you can upgrade your defense, your goaltending automatically gets better. Look what happened with this Leafs team when we lost Muzzin, Brody, Riley, and all those guys had to be elevated. The defense played a lot better, and what happens to the goaltending? The goaltending looked a lot better. The goaltending was a lot better. All the stats were a lot better from both guys. We had the top 2 goalies in the NHL at that point. There are 2 goalies in the top 10 for what they were doing, what they were contributing on a regular basis because of how good they had been. That comes as a product of the defense. That comes as a product of not facing the highest danger opportunities, of being limited on the shots that you're facing against, and playing in a solid, smart structure, a smart defensive structure. Riley comes back in, he throws a wrench into all the pairs, the lines, the structural makeup, everything. So when you put a guy like that back in and it changes things, what happened to the goaltending after? The goaltending took a dip. Well, if your defense can be improved, your goaltending will take a step forward, and to me, you don't need to worry about the goalie. So right now, the main piece that fixes it and kind of solidifies things is going and getting a defenseman. It is getting someone who can make a difference here and change things around. So I'm looking at a D. I'm looking at someone who could probably fit into a top 4 position. And that's kind of my standpoint on it. That's where I would like to be with it, because I feel like that puts this Leafs team in a much, much better position. Maxentius Desmond. Oh, here it is. Denver Charlebois says, Zach, do you think Ryan O'Reilly is a little slow of a skater? I find him super slow. I basically find him to be John Tavares. Like, truthfully, I find him to be John Tavares in what he does and how he plays. In his skating, they're a very similar player in general. So I think that is, even when you're looking at them out there, yeah, they're probably moving at the same speed. I don't find them that fast at all either. But Maxentius Decimus saying both Tavares and O'Reilly are slower skaters, but that line has such hockey IQ to make up for it. Agreed. They will outthink you. They will outsmart you on the ice, and Mitch Marner will contribute to that as well with his speed, adding on his speed and his smarts and his skill set. So I think that line is in a good spot all around. Steven Beer, Zach, Gio's a legit D-man, is a legit D-man we ever had. He's almost close to breaking NHL record with the most block shots ever. Yeah, he's an absolute animal. Arnav B, I want Gavrikov. Doesn't matter. Wait till deadline day to drive price down. Also, Hall won't go. I think Leafs see him as depth guy at very least. Look, I don't have a problem with him being the 7, but goddamn, he cannot be in this top 6. He just can't. He's not good enough over the course of a playoff run to be a top 6 guy. Maybe he could be like a Luke Shen during that run in Tampa where he was the 7th guy who filtered in every now and then, but to be a consistent 6, no way. He just can't do it. He just cannot do it. He can't play defensively well enough. He's not responsible enough. He creates so many opportunities against that there's such a level of frustration with what he does. It just can't be in here consistently. It truly, truly cannot. Handshake Line Respect. Shout out Handshake Line Respect. He was in the Edgework show this morning watching. I don't know how you found it or how you ended up in there, but I appreciated the support from Handshake Line during the Edgework show this morning. If you guys don't know what that is, it is a hockey and NHL betting show that I do Monday through Friday as my day job, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on the Edgework HQ YouTube channel. So if you guys are interested in betting, interested in the betting space, it's something that I'm very into, something that I enjoy a lot. I do daily streams on there for that channel. So Handshake Line did make his way in there, and it was very appreciated seeing him in, especially shouting out Leafs Digest in that chat. But if people are interested in some more betting specific stuff, that's what we got going on there, as well as some trade things, but it's all betting specific. How are markets effective? Those kind of things. John Greystone, Matthews needs $13.5 million to get better effort. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't really agree with that. I don't think that this is a money dependent thing. I don't think he's not trying. I really don't. I think that we're just not seeing the full offensive side of him, but it's not been a terrible year for him offensively. It's just not being Austin Matthews of last year. If this was any year compared to the year before, it would just be considered a slight dip, but based on what he did last year, this is a massive dip in his offensive production. We're looking for him to score 50 again. It's not going to happen. He did have the wrist injury, but yeah. Steven Beer. Zach, is there another D-man we can get that's similar as Hedman? We need a D-man like Hedman. Devon Taves, Brent Burns. Can't get those guys, though. Those guys aren't available. Can't get another Hedman unless you can bring Char out of retirement, convince him to come play for this Leafs team, but can't see that happening. So, no, unfortunately, I don't think that there is any type of way to get another player like that. But I would agree. We could use a defenseman like that. Andrew Leonard, the only thing I see Hall doing consistently well is passing safely in our D zone and skating with the puck on the occasions that he has it, unfortunately. But the only thing is consistently passing in our D zone. A lot of times it's ending up on someone's stick who's not wearing a Maple Leaf on their jersey. That's the frustration with him. Hawkeye, our best chance to win the first round is to pick up a top pair D-man followed by a Morgan Riley injury. Look, getting a top D-man is, to me, a priority. A top 4 at bare minimum here to significantly upgrade this defense. Look, I continue to look back at what was done with Colorado last year, going out and getting Josh Manson, and I just can't understand why that wouldn't be a possibility this year with this team. It's something that I'm scratching my brain at, and I look and I think if we go in with this defense, this is a year I will be actually pretty pissed off if they don't make changes, because I've been a supporter of the moves Dubas has made, the moves Keefe has made with the lineup and everything like that. I've trusted majority of it. I've said, all right, let's let it ride. I think these are good moves. We'll see. These guys are their GM. I'm not. Just sitting here kind of analyzing everything, kind of breaking it down from a perspective of studying the game, reading numbers, having played it myself. That's where I break things down. But this is just to a point where I feel like I'm just hitting my head against the wall watching these D. They're truly not good enough. It's not good enough. The fact that they continue to put Morgan Riley and Justin Hall as a pairing is an absolutely idiotic decision. I understand. I have a lot of respect for Keefe for what he's done for the most part. He's one of the most, if not the most successful in Leafs history. But putting them together is the definition of insanity. You're doing the same thing over and over again. You're expecting a different result. You're hoping that tomorrow or Sunday night when they play together again, all of a sudden magic will come and they'll be playing a lot better. Reality is that's not going to happen because they're not good enough. Morgan Riley's not a good enough defenseman in terms of playing actual defense, and Justin Hall's just not a good enough player. He's not. That is an idiotic decision running them out there together. Rasmus Sandin has kind of been tailing off over the last couple months. Maybe it's because, or like month and a half, maybe it's because he's been injured. I don't know fully, but regardless, it is it's a little bit concerning. I've enjoyed Timmins' game offensively, but I think he still makes some lack of maturity mistakes where you kind of look and you're like, okay, maybe that's a rush play. Maybe that's something you have time to do in the AHL, or you think you can get it through there, but it's not going to happen here on a consistent basis in the NHL. So that could be improved upon. Sandin could probably be improved upon a little bit. Realistically, look, this is my biggest sticking point with these D and why I continue to kind of just lose my mind if they're going to sit here and say these guys are good enough, because at some point it's like, all right, they are not good enough. Like, they are truly are not good enough. Looking at the previous Stanley Cup winners, let's go to last year. Cale Makar. Year before that, Hedman. Carlson, John Carlson, Pietrangelo, Doughties, Duncan Keith, these teams all had top defensemen. And we don't have that. We really just do not have that. Morgan Rielly is not that as much as maybe they want him to be that. And I don't know why Bob Lee Swega is saying John Carlson. Come on, bro. That guy was a Norris caliber defenseman the year that the Washington Capitals won the Cup. And you look down the line, you look at all the previous Cup winners, they've had that guy, and Morgan Rielly is not that guy. TJ Brody is slightly declining. He's not necessarily the player that he was when he got here right away. Gio is obviously an old guy. I don't know. It's just, we don't have that, and to have this consistent mindset of no, we're not going to go out and improve on that is asinine to me. There's no reason that you cannot go out and add a good defenseman. Why can't you go swinging at a McDonough, at an Ekholm, at a Chychrun? You have to add to make improvements to this team, make them better right now, and I strongly believe that those types of defensemen do it. It's not that isn't even a Gavrikov. Gavrikov to me is not that. It is a guy who's got some experience. It is a guy who's got good puck moving ability. It is to me, it's probably between those three. I would even eliminate Dumba from this list. I don't think it can be that. Yeah, Chara from the Bruins as well. Yes, these guys all had those defensemen. So I think you just need to put some support guys around them. That's kind of where I'm at. There's about 100 people watching this right now. If you guys are enjoying this content, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. It is greatly appreciated. Unfortunately, I don't have overly much to say about this game tonight. It was kind of a slower one, so we'll wrap this up shortly. We will give our grades of the game and our plays of the game here. But as far as trade discussion and stuff goes, maybe we can just do a full-blown live stream tomorrow night late and just do trade breakdowns if people are interested in that. Trade deadline preview. We'll take calls. If you want to get in and talk about who you want to see, what you think could happen, subscribe to this channel. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow night leading up to this trade deadline and kind of break some things down, because as far as this Leafs team goes right now, yeah, we're basically talking trades every time, but we're trying to break down the game in between. We're talking about players to add, players to get rid of and stuff. It gets mixed in with the game. So maybe we'll do a trade-focused show. So if you guys want that, hit subscribe, and I'll see if we can get that set up for tomorrow night. Maybe that's something that we can do. But let's get into our Austin Matthews play of the game. Drop yours in the chat. Looking to hear what you guys are saying. All right, Austin Matthews play of the game. I'm going with the Willie OT winner. I think that's got to be the one. Looking at what Willie did in this overtime here tonight was just a very dominant play, a very dominant performance. You're looking at a guy who had 2 points here tonight in a game where the team only scored 2 goals. He gets the assist on the tying goal, setting that up with insane patience. Getting in Gretzky's office, waiting things out, going tape to tape, and closing that, making that one close, tying it back up, and giving this Leafs team a shot. And then pushing it to OT, get there, and you have that never say die attitude. Chase the guy down, lift his stick, steal it, turn around, and drive the net with power, with speed, with authority. You take it to the net. One hand, you're not getting pushed off the puck. You're not losing that puck. Pull it across, bury in the net. And wow, like that was an incredible goal. You're looking at a guy right now, 33 goals on the season, a career year. And people sat here and said, including myself, I guess, sat here and said, this William Nylander, I don't know, maybe it's time to move on. But right now, he is on the biggest bargain deal potentially in the NHL at this point for what he's getting paid, for what he is doing. So Willie Nye has been an absolute stud to me this season. That goal tonight was just another showcase of that. The power, the speed, the strength, the consistency of Willie Nye. What a stud. What an animal. What a goal. That is my play of the game. And it looks like it's pretty unanimous in the chat here. Everyone's saying Willie Styles, Willie OT, Willie OT, Willie OT. Easy Willie OT goal for the OT winner. The Austin Matthews play of the day. So easy one there. Honestly, it doesn't get much more simple than that for me. But again, if you guys are watching this right now, hit that like button. About 50% of you have hit the like button. So I would like to get that number up if we can. We're looking forward to trying to push this during the playoffs. Look forward to everyone being here during the playoff run, especially over the next week as we lead up to trade deadline. It'll be real exciting. So hit that like button. But we will wrap up here in a minute once we go with our grades of the game. Let me know in the chat what your grade of the game is. All right, grades of the game here tonight. Interested to hear everyone's. I'm going to go with an A-. This wasn't a perfect game. It was a little bit slow, sluggish. I thought the Leafs might be in for one to start the game, especially looking at Samsonov, looking like he was almost asleep on that one dump in. But you find a way. You basically go punch for punch with Minnesota in terms of penalties, shots, just the style of play, the chances that were created. I think that you're looking at a team here tonight that was in a pretty good game against the Minnesota Wild and played pretty well against them. 26 block shots, Minnesota 18, 10 takeaways. You're looking at a team tonight who won 71% of their faceoffs and when even on shots with Minnesota. I think A- is fair. You go down early. It's an uneventful game. Not much is going on. You still look like you played well. At no point did it ever look ridiculous, like they weren't playing well. Samsonov basically had some interesting moments, some hairy moments. But even on top of that, this Leafs team finds a way, finds a will, and grits this one out. You get the OT win off a flashy, nasty goal from William Nylander. So, yeah, this was a A- night for me. Even looking at Samsonov, 24 saves, 960 save percentage. I'm happy with that night from him. I think he can maybe clean it up a little bit on the goal that was scored and the almost goal, because even on that goal, I still think he should have been over, tucking against the post, taking that away. But yeah, I mean, 6 1/3, saying generous grade, Zach. Almost also the penalty at the end. I mean, yes, fair. One thing I will say too about this power play and about what we need to get at the deadline, Morgan Rielly should not be on power play 1. That's another thing that's driving me nuts, just the love that they have for Rielly on first power play unit. I don't believe he's deserving of that position, of that spot anymore. I really don't. I think he should be out of there. Give it to Liljegren. Give it to Gio. I don't care. Put 5 forwards out there again, but it can't be Morgan Rielly. He doesn't have the shot. I hate the way that they enter the zone. The power play, yes, I get it. You're in a spot where you have one extra guy on the ice than the other team, so you can look for a bit of a better shot than the other team, but guess what? You can't always just pass, and not get a shot on net or get one shot on net, especially with 4 minutes left in the third period of a tied game. What if that's playoffs? You need to have a threat back there. You need to have someone who can make a difference. And to me, Morgan Rielly truly is not that guy. I think he's got to be taken off that power play. He's not doing anything. He's not a threat from the point. His shot is not a threat. Like, there's just not much going on at all from Morgan Rielly's perspective back there. And the power play is a little bit frustrating to me. I look at the time it takes to enter the zone every time that they go up and down the ice, and it's way too long. Look at Minnesota. Watch back their power play zone entries here tonight. Goes quick drop pass to Kaprizov. It's not some long slingshot pass. It's a quick drop, and then he zips up the ice, goes flying down, and just cuts through everybody. And it's like, well, we've got players like that too. We've got Nylander, Matthews, Marner. These guys can go coast to coast and skate the puck in. Let them rip. Stop with these obnoxious double, triple drop passes where it takes you 15, 20 seconds to enter the zone. That is a frustrating thing for me, and this power play needs to figure it out because that is going to be important in the playoffs. I truly believe that, but that's kind of my evaluation on the game here tonight. If you enjoyed the content, please make sure to hit subscribe on this channel. You can also like this video. That helps us out a lot. Get found by people out there. I'll try to set up maybe tomorrow night at some point, like a late night stream, a full breakdown of trade deadline. We'll get calls in. We'll hear people's opinions. We'll answer questions about trades, possibly players going in and out, everything like that. Tomorrow night, we'll try to do a live show. Maybe have to push that, but I'll let you guys know. Hit subscribe. This has been game number 59 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the Minnesota Wild 2-1 in overtime with a ridiculous William Nylander goal, moving to 36, 15, and 8 on the season. Leafs fans, thank you guys so much for tuning in here tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. Look forward to seeing everyone in our next live stream. And until then, Leafs fans, keep believing.